and gentlemen. It is truly an honor and delightful pleasure to be here to do a very special resolution to a very young, fine gentleman who has literally devoted a lot of his time in protecting, preserving, and perpetuating our healing practices as it relates to Dångkolo. And I just want to note that joining me this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, is our good speaker, Speaker Judy Wampat, thank you, and our Majority Leader, Senator Rory Respicio. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'd like to call Mr. Ayuyu up here, and if he can set up here. And before we do the resolution reciting, I also like to, and I thank all the family and friends who are here. I see a lot of our wonderful Surahanas that are also here. I see the folks from Sagan Katuran. I see one of the board of directors for Department of Chamorro Affairs, Saina and Frank Lizama, and Dångkolo na si Yuʹos Masi for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'd also like to call the director of Department of Chamorro Affairs, a young, handsome gentleman that doesn't need any introduction. His popularity will speak for itself. Please come and join me. His name is Mr. Johnny Sablan, who would like to do a very special certificate presentation to Mr. Ayuyu as it relates to the work that he's done. So, Mr. Sablan, please.
Yuʹos Masi, no speakers, and then Tina and Rory, senators, and ginin I Departamentin Kaho Gwinahan Samoru, then Guam Council of the Arts and Humanities. The sinan bin no punhano the Pabisaonia hall na Dångkolo na bidamu na contribution gwinigi tanota specialmente amtizun siya na amot then kun todo di kantomo siya ni na mamagov todo itauto gini sa isla. Pues a certificate of recognition is hereby awarded to Emilio Ayuyu for his contribution to the healing arts and the perpetuation of the Chamorro culture. Baguna Ani and Dångkolo na si Yuʹos Masi in Hami in Guadzao.
Ms. Sita, please join us. Yuʹos Masi. Mr. Sablan, thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, normally when we have resolution presentations, we usually summarize and we talk about what the person being presented the resolution, what his accomplishments and his just all the good deeds that he's done for the community. I'm going to ask both my colleagues, I'm going to ask that Senator Respicio go ahead and read half of the resolution. I'll have the good speaker read portions of it also, and then I'll do the official presentation to Mr. Ayuyu. I truly believe that in the spirit of Inna Famalik and us always coming together as a legislature to pay tribute to our community leaders and those who protect who we are as island people, I think it's important that we all share in the resolution together. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is 492-33 COR, as introduced by myself, Majority Leader Senator Respicio, Speaker Wampat, Vice Speaker Cruz, my brother Senator Frank Blas, and the rest of the members of the 33rd Guam Legislature. It's relative to acknowledging and recognizing Emilio Aldan Ayuyu Dångkolo for his commitment and dedication to the Haya Foundation in its mission to protect, preserve, perpetuate, and promote our traditional healing practices, and to further extending Dångkolo na si Yuʹos Masi to him for guiding and teaching aspiring traditional medical practitioners to carry on this cultural tradition. At this time, Majority Leader, please.
Pues Behu Tatazi Estina Honra. In Chamorro. Whereas Emilio Aldan Ayuyu was born on December 8, 1953, on the island of Pagan in the Northern Mariana Islands. He is the son of the late Margarita Aldan and the late Jose de la Cruz Aldan, and is one of Ajuju, and is one of 14 children. Whereas at the age of 4 and after the termination of a Japanese firm's contract for exporting copra in Pagan, Mr. Ajuju's family relocated to Saipan, where he attended Salankanoa Elementary School. And whereas Mr. Ajuju attended Marianas High School and graduated in 1971, during the summers of his high school years, he spent much of his time in Pagan and Alamagan with his grandparents and other family members learning traditional healing practices. Whereas by trade, Mr. Ajuju is a professional cosmetologist. After graduating from high school, Emilio attended Trendsetter Cosmetology School in Hawaii and graduated in 1975. Whereas Mr. Ajuju went on to expand his knowledge and skills in New York, where he resided for 3 years before returning to Saipan for a visit and then relocating to Guam. Whereas Mr. Ajuju worked as a cosmetologist at Juni's Hair Design for 2 years, at Susan's Beauty Salon for 4 years, and at Magic Mirror for 3 years. I remember these places. Whereas at the request of his mother, Mr. Ajuju relocated back to Saipan, where he established his own salon called, I also remember this, called the Emilio Main Street Salon, which has operated for more than 11 years. Due to his mother's illness, Emilio sold his salon in order to care for her until passing in 1991. Madam Speaker.
And Mr. Ajuju then worked for Saipan's First Lady, Grace Tenorio, from 1993 to 1998. And soon after that, he relocated to Luta and worked with Miss Patty Mendiola for a year to help her establish her beauty salon and help train her employees. And Mr. Ajuju then returned to Saipan and worked with the students of Saipan Elementary School to promote cultural traditions. He worked with Dr. Elizabeth Rehibe to establish Inetnon Atmut Natibu, where he worked with the group to assist with the publication of the Directory of Traditional Healers and Medicinal Plants in the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands, which was published in 2009. And as a Joamti, Emilio was featured in the book, and a Joamti is a deeper type of healer. During his childhood, Mr. Ajuju had spent much of his time with his elders who were healers, and by being with them, he learned the medicinal properties of the local flora and fauna. He discovered that the leaves, the roots, and the bark of certain trees produce healing properties. He learned how to harvest these plants when they were in season and how to access them. And Mr. Ajuju learned the traditional way of healing from family members, which included his grandparents, Carmen de la Cruz, his father's mother, Maria del Rosario Agan, his mother's mother, and his aunt, Maria A. Aldan, his father's sister. And as he grew older, they taught him how to prepare the medicines. And Mr. Ajuju's traditional healing knowledge also includes massage, mansafi, and treatment involving prayer and medicinal plants. Mr. Ajuju is a man of many talents who has contributed to our culture and traditional ways of living, to include publishing a book entitled Alamagan Gi Inatanhu. He is also a recording artist who has produced several albums, including Prenda na un Flores Mazu and Inutitzu and Emilio. Mr. Ajuju is also an illustrator of 7 local publications, and after the publication of the Directory of Traditional Healers and Medicinal Plants in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands in 2009, Mr. Ajuju relocated back to Guam, where he affiliated himself with Haya Foundation. And Mr. Ajuju has lived on Guam for the past 4 years and has served as an instructor, teacher, and guide, and has been instrumental in serving as a primary Joamti with the Haya Foundation in its mission to protect, preserve, perpetuate, and promote our traditional healing practices. And Mr. Juju was also instrumental in teaching a team of aspiring apprentices of the Haya Foundation about the location of various plants and their cultivation and medicinal uses. He has also been featured in many workshops and has participated in many traditional healing panels throughout the past 3 years. He has also shared his knowledge in various documentaries for traditional healing, and he has also served as an instructor at the University of Guam on this project. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Committee Rules of Minachen Taiches na Legislatuan Guahan does hereby, on behalf of the Legislatuan Guahan and the people of Guam, acknowledge and recognize Emilio Aldan Ayuyu, Joe Amti, for his commitment and dedication to the Haya Foundation in its mission to protect, preserve, perpetuate, and promote our traditional healing practices, and thus further extend Dångkolo na si Yuʹos Maʹåseṁ to him for guiding and teaching aspiring traditional medical practitioners to carry on his cultural tradition. And be it further resolved that the Speaker and Chairperson of the Committee on Rules certify and the Legislative Secretary attest to the adoption hereof, and that copies of the same be thereafter transmitted to Emilio Aldan Ayuyu, to the Haya Foundation, and to the Honorable Edward J. B. Kawe Magalahan Guahan, duly and regularly adopted by the Committee on Rules of Minachen Taiches na Legislatuan Guahan on the 18th day of October 2016, signed by myself as Speaker, signed by Senator Respicio, the Chairperson, Committee on Rules, and signed by Tina Rose Muña Barnes, the Legislative Secretary. And Senator?
Si Yuʹos Maʹåseṁ. And Speaker, thank you. If I may, at this time, also call up Mr. Johnny Sablan, and I see Dr. Lizama and Uncle Frank. Por favor, Myla. I hope I have everybody here that's coming up who's made. The apprentices, please join us. Please, it's really, really important. I see Jessica. Please come on up. Uncle, Dångkolo na si Yuʹos Maʹåseṁ. Thank you for all the work that you've done. And as I see that our signers, our apprentices, and the Haya Foundation, and just the people of Guam wanting to acknowledge the work that you do and the blessing that you have been able to share with us, we will truly be forever grateful that the history that has been sent down for generations to our families, that it not be forgotten because of the work that you've done to work closely with the other signers, but more importantly, to work with our apprentices. So, Dångkolo na si Yuʹos Maʹåseṁ, si Yuʹos on bini DC, how, and God bless you.
Ani bolada tu sai pani apa na artikelu pa bisogui. Was ugi fina Fabiano Pagua. Lari batu tu tu rasa juga tu gemaisi tu first kasut. Daleko lagu tu dah pabiri liliko. Fina na baru ni mangkai kiamut ko saki. Waktu biar sa Fabiano sa pabispia estou tu mamano ni kai lugar. Pues, si Zita, unalay Dångkolo na si Yuʹos Maʹåseṁ, pwede pinasensya sa unggad ganito maglaluso sa ora ni poron para tumuli amor alas 3 optimoti sinyaston suliki. Digi lalalaluso kalau dali lalaluso sa iora. Ay lalu jupur. Ya, kuntudus ti tosti si Francis bigaynya no lalandi. Isti amud ne. Gua uranya David yung sulit tosta fogan. Lo ang ginuutan samu titifi. Pat samu toto tu apa sa semua minit gonya. Angin somnak, sige na sen maulig masuli lo gofaday ora sa stay ni ala stress ne di gini mana ujung la gua harap ya di mafakta so pues ano malo pala alam talo so li ataduk dakulor jitagi baby blue sa malak pues maulikid so na spirito lo commonly na gagatadok niya suwadi so nalo lo bulagi zahita sabi na klaro todo sanso ni manggay pa maguun sa guapal gun lo pinanyago mo obin lo David yun aju matu gigima sukat yun nahalong gyalong guma sa guapal gun di kiki nasaga gisa nizong lo sangali alok ayade sa bizol lalalu sa gua nene sa iora di patapatoigi gua tu gigi isti na gumak mo lo gua di mahang na dos ki kereta sa tungo bisa nombabay peta ni gima bisa finilalo sa utunga lokino na tradisyon ginigi sa Guam antes sa wasalo bargadas ti familia Sibosas lo sti bia de bisinon tiu ne familia Macaca sa familia Macaca zukuini lo banaptis ti bia patgud sa sesungo kiji lalu no pod iji aja batu tunna salo angay patguno na nasaga gisanizong jo descansa basta 5 minutos pesije con todo sabso ti ije fa magun parafa David na dahil sa baliligoy tradisyon esta sa bulang gasto sa lapi como para ta revive pati sa isti atala pago na tempo waso ni eskwela zo no lo bargadet sunya hai ne ki ali bargadet sunya hai pagwan talan lo waswa tatina tisinya fumino sa morog eskwela sa pumapagtikay fino English wow ti ba fana gwizo fino English lo tungo tumugi bagay na ugof kandalo fino sa morog titanoso pona ba yung lefa ni itamano sa sanganya dan malo ni pompoliglota kasi todo si jura tauto sti jokkuno staff kiristi Agu Francis si Jessica si Muñeca walara mon na o mana opanistira tiningo zo mazuda pamaguun generasyon do pamagonta generasyon lo zo mapasa papa itiningo gizasiya za ulam mo za ba dasaunos ti gyalon ni curriculum eskwela publiko ni pero wahas sa sinyas ti siya manalo za pada demonstrate of di bandang kultura na banda dan tradisyon sa istira tiningo ito do tauto sinya manamti ito do tauto sinya manamti baho baadik zo ni pamilya ko sa ambis tilo zo gando apa zo isti ilegya rati maa nyo zo no malum zo unggal bagay taima nyo zo lalu zabi SPI amul mani gaigi zabi batka giri gizo kwam gagi yung atso gi balo para ritidian papa ikat dulunya pura pot kabalagu su namba pesurfi juga tu iji faisir another kay lugar na ito umaday su lotsu sa izigi pol paput gofi put tanti parambol pol. Pagi mumutong Palawan, kumamok daw gisalan, ulilya gikantun salang gini ko ang pago. Paling na malaktalo po, fuzu da mambilikero, zuzo so de mumutong Palawan, pesunay siyan tisay. Porotan, da magad na lalala da na pangta, uzu, gusto iziki amot patgun, para binila, kalintura, dan ijire minanglo lagos boleh kisti itupan sa moro ni ji tabako kamu pupuno sa amot para ikalabok mo dan amot Palawan dan gitisinya gaipat gun manasosaw no pagoy jed ba Santa Maria si Ibia. Waktu suatu satu hari kita laku apa biasa boleh nya. Hai. Bisinya lah punas estilo. Ko malako sa biam tio. Lekya. Aki sija deh pat gonu lam tito. Ijala dia naziri je. Implas. Waktu sekian dia tunas lunas ta. Itu sija na taiguide pues ya estaba bocar pa que muna maisa diga guizo bata disti ako pues silende udai palo di perohadai udai ni ambot tatkalum atau apa tatkalum isti go Facebook di autum to di maduk di pono alum yang di pes lulu sembaga lang problema lanong gimi itu to lang sediki gambu problema di jista kulon amariju dan ya da baba itu sediki ni na bronkai di so pinenda pes na pneumonia ya pues isti i apa man malingo gizaitan na Balagi bandang kultura, David itaspiasa tapolo takti gisagannya. Da itu istigi David yung madayang ba sa Guam? Karena mata itu spiapet salang itu siya solda. Lo, saya pas lo wagi gumaja si Francis lo senti malago na itu tresagun. Lo daw kimas do ban sinanganga dia ni custom bekule da itaw-taw muna tataw-taw gini ni palabras ni malangos gini ni patsutnya sa kumuti taw-taw yun sa nga ni taw-taw ninoy palabras de sa mantaw-taw Jagin, esta komite gini tahu mga madagi. Pagod ang ginto na sinya gina di hagang. Sa gwa numerus tati pareho sa nantis ito. Lo na sistemento gini kumugwa malango mga marinunsyo at kati mamagufo. Da mga loki ji para gigoda dito na jini ambo destan $10 sa inggit tadong mo. Da kumbo jagin taigwendo de pues tiba uli kendo fasal alapis istira tiningo. Tiba uli jagin fasal alapis kada nung bendi tau to. Mga bendi tau to di afasa sizu sa muray tinatiningo de lo. Referenso ke pai tato perlu sa guaji malangon I medico guaji malangon I apa istilahnya I bandata go kombo chenul maipi utungai pi parafa bi examen tahu to ko chenul maipi biata na matana gigo na vira sa tisinya taniri I Iji malango, senul baik siya atan tosti itu. Wes malago tu na pabid nayam tu unsan Dångkolo na agradecimiento gini ni fondon corazon no para todos santo ni manggagi gini da alaramon terima konsigi mo nasti natiningo sa bakat David yung tungo parihul impostor jani magahit. Lo David yung tungo apa izonya na denya. David yung tungo ora ni para bakada so magalo todo yung alfabetal mo ni man maulik unso tubi para si Yuʹos. Dan iti ofisirannya anu toge Presidus parewa dan gileje tauto nyalang de rato sumasya strangero sa tauto Dångkolo na Situs masih talo podan jugwedi di banggagi
Jesus Mași. Let's go ahead and take a photo. Thank you very much for everybody being here this afternoon, and God bless each and every one of you. Sana Mași.